Nancy Mace is still obsessively grifting off of her trans bathroom crusade, and AOC, at the very least, has had just about enough of it. Take a look.
I want to be very clear about this. When it comes to who has the right to access a bathroom here, what Nancy Mace and what Speaker Johnson are doing are endangering all women and girls. Because if you ask them, what is your plan on how to enforce this? They won't come up with an answer. And what it inevitably results in are women and girls who are primed for assault because people are going to want to check their private parts in suspecting who is trans and who is cis and who's doing what. And so the idea that Nancy Mace wants little girls and women to drop trow in front of who? An investigator? Who would that be? In order because she wants to suspect and point fingers at who she thinks is trans is disgusting. It is disgusting. And if a woman doesn't look woman enough to a Republican, they want to be able to inspect her genitals to use a bathroom. It's disgusting. And everybody, no matter how you feel on this issue, should reject it completely.
I think those are not only strong words, but I also think it's the exact sort of framing that we need to remind people of, because that is not just an obvious consequence of what Nancy Mace and Mike Johnson are pushing for with the bathrooms at the Capitol, but that is literally what Republicans have advocated for in other instances where they got all into people's business with the trans issue. Like they are saying with these high school athletes, they do want to literally inspect the kids. They want to get into. They want to track their periods, and they want to get physically. And in terms of your information, privacy is miles away. You can't even see privacy in your rearview mirror. So she's 100% right to remind people of this. Now, Nancy Mace is going to pretend that it's AOC that's being unacceptable. She said AOC's not telling the truth. No one has ever said that women should drop trow. That's really disgusting. Yeah. It is disgusting. This entire thing is utterly disgusting and weird and creepy and also transparently grifty and all of that. But if it isn't a thing of you'll drop trow, then how exactly is this supposed to work anyway? Because you're saying trans people can't use the bathrooms. So how do you know? How do you enforce that? If you are not literally pulling down someone's underwear and looking at their genitals, how the hell would you know that someone was violating this in the first place? It seems to be an instance where it's either that or people have offered up the information, in which case you are literally penalizing them for honesty. But in other cases, what is it going to be? Like you're telling me that Marjorie Greene is not going to be looking every woman in the face and being like, is she womanly enough? And challenging people? She's threatening to get into fist fights with people. And so if they're not willingly offering up the information, and there's no other way that you would know because you literally would not ever see their genitals unless you pull down their pants. It's a woman's bathroom. That's not how it works. Then I don't know what this is supposed to be about. Francesca, I think they just don't like people like AOC making clear what it is that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would be very confused as to the gender of Marjorie Greene, but she does look exactly like, Lucy from, a Cro-Magnon time. So like there's that. And I'm like, oh yeah, first woman, Marjorie Greene. So there's no confusion there. But look, this kind of solidarity is so critical to actually beating the right. And when I see AOC standing up for trans people and saying this is absolutely preposterous, it's not enforceable because it's left up to the whims of whoever thinks that someone doesn't look womanly enough according to their own eyes, right? That is exactly what this means. And when you hear her stand up for that, you're like, this is what we need, because ultimately anti-trans bills, anti-trans legislation, anti-trans cultural hysteria is truly about attacking all women, right? It is about attacking, this is unleashing violence on women in bathrooms, in locker rooms, wherever they might be, specifically by policing their genitals. And and you are exactly right, because it is not enforceable in any other way. And so I think we really need to remember here that, and there are a lot of people who, I don't know where they position themselves politically, but who are like, look, I think Nancy Mace is wrong on this, but I do have my line when it comes to trans people, right? I do have my line and this and that. But I think we need to understand that there is a very slippery slope here, and especially for some of the alleged feminists who feel as though trans people are coming for them or like taking away their rights, TERFs for lack of a better term, right?
Yeah.
We need to understand that actually the only way out of this is real solidarity between trans people and women, because it is an attack on all of us. It's the same thing that going after trans people is an attack on all gay people, right? I mean, excuse me, on all LGBTQ plus people, right? So it's like sexual identity as well. It's an attack also eventually on same-sex marriage. It's an attack on all kinds of gender expression and sexuality expression. And that includes simply being a cis woman, right? And living your damn life. So like, the more we separate out these issues, the more we lose. But I know we're going to talk about Sarah McBride, which I think offers a way to win. But I'm just explaining how we lose.
I think it's a great point. And so I have a serious question. I'll say for Nancy Mace, and also because Marjorie Green apparently sees Nancy Mace sending out literally hundreds. I believe Nancy Mace had sent out 326 tweets about this issue as of 4 days ago. I don't know if it's 500 now, 1,000 now, I don't know. So she's trying to make herself the most transphobic person. Marjorie Green's bothered by that, and that's why she's saying she'll get into a fist fight. So you're in the bathroom, okay, and you see someone walk in, and rather than just like washing your hands and leaving like a normal person, you begin inspecting them because that's who you are. Deep down to your core, you're this bizarre Karen or whatever. And so you think they're trans. So what happens? What do? Are you going up to them and asking if they're trans? Well, what if they say no? And yet you deeply suspect that they are, because that's the sort of person that you are. So what do? I mean, you talked about getting into a fist fight, but why exactly would this get into anything physical? They're not going to start a physical confrontation unless, of course, you're literally blocking them physically from going to the bathroom. Is that what you're proposing to do? Or sorry, for Nancy Mace and Marjorie Green, trying to have empathy for stuff that doesn't involve them, what might be difficult. So let me make it specifically about them. So again, I think people's physical appearance is literally unimportant entirely to politics, but they're hyper obsessed with how people look. So Marjorie Green, let's say that a person thought that you looked suspicious. They might think that you're trans and they stop you. What do? Do you just, because you're so impressed by how transphobic they are, you bow and leave? No, you're not going to do that. So what are you going to do? I mean, they're going to want to know if you're trans or not. Are they allowed to pull down your pants? Or if you refuse to pull down your pants, are they allowed to physically bar you from going to the bathroom? Maybe eject you from the bathroom? Should they call 911? Or should we have professional guards stationed at all of these bathrooms? Remember, this is a Capitol Hill thing right now, but they've proposed doing this at the state level in so many different places. So, Marge, when someone tries to bar you from going to the bathroom, how far are they able to take it? All of this is, or maybe we just let people go to the goddamn bathroom. How about that? And then we focus on the real issues that are actually affecting people's lives. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.